with the growth of ChatGPT and artificial intelligence, there are those out there that say the key to success is to simply program the prompts into ChatGPT, and then success is automatic. Well, the truth is, there's no one single source of technology that's going to deliver massive results. But today, what we're going to do is we're going to talk about Pure Green as a case study, and we're going to talk about all the technology that we're using in order to deliver massive franchise growth. So here's what we're going to cover today. So we're going to cover brand narrative. We're going to cover some internal tools, some great tech tools for internal efficiency. We're going to cover leveraging your personal brand for lead generation. We're going to talk about the franchise sales process. And we're going to talk about raising capital through technology. So to start, we're going to talk about brand narrative. I'll tell you a little bit of a story. So I started Pure Green in 2014. And we didn't start franchising until 2020. Fast forward to today, we're an omni-channel business. We have a wholesale division where we work with over 50 professional sports teams. All the athletes are drinking the product. Over 30 college teams. SpaceX is a client, one of our largest. We also work with Disney. And in 2020, when we started franchising, I wanted to do a brand revamp. What I wanted to do was make sure that all of our systems, our standards, and our aesthetic was perfect so that we could scale. And so what did I do? I went out and I hired the former lead designer for Tesla and for Google. His name was Chris. So when Chris sat down with me, one of the things that Chris said, he said, Ross, I was the guy that showed Elon Musk where to put the logo on the cars. He said, with Pure Green, if you want Pure Green to be a billion-dollar brand, it has to look like a billion-dollar brand. And so what we did was, he's like, we're going to start with a logo. And this was a tough one for me because, I'm obsessed with our logo. I love our logo. And what he did was he convinced me. He said, okay, the heart, what we're going to do is he made these minor changes. He made the heart a little more symmetrical. He took our lime green color that's there, just made it a little brighter. And this really became the foundation behind the look and feel of our stores. It became the foundation behind all the creative that was to come. Now, I could stand here today and I could tell you all about Pure Green, how I started it. I could tell you about the history, our principles, or instead, all I need to do is simply hit play.
Pure Green is a national, omni-channel brand with presence in over 30 states. All of our products have unparalleled taste, and we source superfoods from all over the globe.
Warm, friendly, engaging hospitality is at our core. Part of what makes the guest experience so memorable at Pure Green is our culture. That's why we developed Pure Green University. Pure Green University is where we teach our new team members and new franchise partners the nutritional benefits of our products, so they can make the experience more memorable for our guests.
A major point of difference about Pure Green franchise is our low startup costs. Pure Green's wholesale division sells our franchisees pre-made juice that's ready to sell, which cuts all of the expensive equipment and juice manufacturing. Pure Green franchisees can open up a Pure Green location for a fraction of the cost compared to our competitors.
The driving force behind Pure Green is our people. Whether it be hiring a new team member or awarding a new franchise, we're always looking for people in alignment with our values and have health and wellness at their core.
The reason that we've built such momentum in the industry is the quality of our products. We've formulated all of our products to have the highest levels of nutrition and unparalleled taste. And it's this balance between taste and nutrition that sets us apart in the industry.
Inclusiveness has always been one of our guiding principles. If you share our passion for health and wellness, we would like to invite you to join us in our mission of building healthier communities around the world.
So that's the power of video. And now guys, what I want to do is I want to give all of you some actionable strategies, some actionable technology that you guys can apply to your own business. So we're going to start off with a really cool one, right? We just talked about the power of video. And I want to tell you about a technology called Flipping Book. The website is flippingbook.com. And basically what it does is it converts a boring, generic PDF and it makes it a live form of media. You're able to weave videos into your PDFs. You could send it by a link. You could send it by a QR code. And in fact, I want you guys to get a little taste of it. So if you guys could just take out your phones and point it at that QR code right there on the screen, right there. And you'll see the Flipping Book actually open up. And what's so cool about it is you can just text it to people. If you're in sales, you can text it to your leads. We send it to landlords like this, and it's an interactive PDF. And so basically, video is woven in. It helps with brand narrative. It helps you to tell the story. Another cool thing about it is the back end. You're able to see how many people have opened it. You're able to see all the back end analytics. So it's a way to really take your PDFs and your decks and your presentations to the next level. So I highly recommend you experiment with it. Another really important piece and tool for brand narrative is your website. When someone hears about your brand, what's the first thing they do? They go right to your website. I just want to highlight some things on the Pure Green franchise website that we kind of built in. It's really helpful for brand narrative is one, just beautiful pictures of our stores. It's really important that your brand is accurately displayed. For us, having images that are visually stunning are really important. We want to provide super credibility. So being ranked by the Franchise 500, showcasing that, talking about our AUV, right? And no marketing tricks, no gimmicks, right? We could easily put down, hey, our AUV is 1.4 million, but then fine print, top 10%, right? We don't do that. We don't play those games. This is our real AUV. And so the website is a brand's source of truth. And it is more important than ever that companies focus on their website and it properly displays what the franchise brand is all about. So I want to dive into now some internal tools for efficiency that we've been using. One of them is company intranet. Now, this is really important for our current franchisees because to drive massive franchise growth, your existing franchisees have to be happy and they have to be successful. So it can be overwhelming when a new franchisee comes in and there's so many different applications, there's so many different documents. What you want to do is you want to have everything under one roof. And so this is our franchise intranet. I just took some screenshots here so you can see what's on here. I'll highlight it very quickly. So we have all of our Dropbox files in one area. We have quick links to all of our technology that we use, our inventory management system, scheduling, payroll, all the quick links to all the apps that we use. It makes it very easy to onboard new franchisees. We use Flipping Books for everything. I mean, we use it for cold pressed juice catalogs. Even our operations manual is a flip book. Team member training guides are flip books. We use Flipping Books for everything. And we have all of our monthly Zoom calls with all of our franchisees get recorded. So if your brand doesn't have a company intranet, I highly recommend you invest in it. It's very easy to put up, but this is a very important form of technology for any franchise brand. Then what we do is to streamline team member training. Across the country, we're open now in over 14 different states. And any new team member who comes into the company, we have a special website. It's a team member training site. And basically, this video that starts with me talking about the history, the mission, the values of the company, so everyone hears that and understands that to build that company culture. We use a Flipping Book for the team member training guide, so we talk about all of the educational benefits of all of our products. And then, again, we spoke about the importance of video. So we have videos on how to make every single recipe that we have for every one of our products. There's a video explaining it that's very professionally done. Every operational procedure has a video. The morning checklist, the mid-shift checklist, evening checklist. Even as basic as how to cut fruit. We have videos for that. We have videos for everything. So it makes it really easy for new team members to get acclimated. And it makes it really easy for our franchisees to train their team members. So team member training through video, very important. Then one thing that we can't live without is, believe it or not, is DocuSign. We use DocuSign for all of our franchise administration. So sending out the request for consideration, DocuSign. And it gets stored and linked to all of our leads in our CRM. We use DocuSign for the FDD to capture the signature for the item 23. We use it for the franchise agreement. Everything gets stored on DocuSign. I can't believe that there's franchise brands out there right now that are printing out the franchise agreements and sending it to the potential franchisees. They're signing it by hand, they're mailing it. I mean, talk about like sustainability, that's terrible. So DocuSign is an amazing tool. So I want to talk about right now leveraging your personal brand to promote your business. So and I'll give you a little context behind this. So one day I had a call with our PR team. I was feeling a little frustrated. I was like, guys, we need more national press for Pure Green franchise. And every PR company, they hear this all the time. They know the drill, right? We want to be in Forbes. We want to be an entrepreneur. Get us a People magazine, right? So the PR companies hear this all the time. And they're like, Ross, like, we need an angle. I'm like, okay, help me come up with one. They're like, well, let's talk about you as a founder. And let's use that as the angle to get the press. I'm like, okay, well, what do I have to do? They're like, well, it would really help if you wrote a book. I was like, okay, challenge accepted. So I wrote a book. It became a bestseller on Amazon, not that hard to do. But it really became a tool for the PR team that they can use to get us in some of these top tier publications. But here's the interesting thing that ended up happening. So the book actually became a way to generate franchise leads. And this was kind of unexpected, but I'll walk you through the pipeline here. So when you Google my name, Ross Franklin, right? Google Knowledge panel pops up, right? There's pictures of me. And then the description, he's a best-selling author, he's this and that, right? It's a little bit of puffery, but the lead sees that and builds instant credibility. It's all true, right? But builds instant credibility. Then what happens, right? They go to my personal website, rossfranklin.com. They're like, who is this guy? They see that I wrote a book. And believe it or not, this is a crazy thing. Like, potential franchise leads, they're buying my book, right? And then they go to puregreenfranchise.com, they go through all of our lead funnels, they fill out the form. And here's the interesting thing, is our franchise sales team, when they tell me, they're like, okay, I just had a call with so-and-so, they read Ross's book, right? And they're a big fan of Ross. We know, our sales team loves that, because we know that lead is gonna close and they're gonna be an amazing franchisee. So this happened unexpectedly. And then another thing that happened that was really interesting, which is our SEO team was like, hey, Ross, did you know that in the juice bar franchise world, you're doing the Andrew Tate? I'm like, what are you talking about? They're like, you are the number one CEO in your industry in terms of search volume. I'm like, really? They're like, yeah, let me show you this. The keyword that they're trying to target is juice bar franchise. It gets 250 unique visitors per month. Ross Franklin gets 250 unique visitors per month. So I'm generating the same amount of traction as our top keyword. And they're like, hey, you're getting, your competitors, CEOs of your competitors, they're getting 3 times less search volume. You are the most searched CEO in your industry. I'm like, hey, that's pretty cool. And we started getting a lot of franchise leads because they're through my personal brand. So that's really interesting, and this is just an example of how to leverage your personal brand for your business. So I want to dive into the lead process a little bit. So without going too heavy in here, I want to talk about some mistakes that we made. When we started franchising, we were kind of over tech. We're using too much technology. A lead would fill out the lead form, just like this with the basic questions. And then what happened is automatically they get an email from us, right? From our team. They get a text message. So they're getting an email, they're getting a text message, and it's kind of a turnoff. And then we were using this this tech platform called Calendly. You guys all know it. Hey, book a time here. And big turnoff for the leads, right? These guys, our franchise leads, our franchisees are investing about $300,000, which for a lot of people, that's their whole life savings. And they don't want to have to book a Calendly link for half an hour just to, it doesn't sit right with them. And so what we found, we made a shift with our whole sales process. And what we did was we're kind of going old school. Well, our goal is when a lead comes in, we want to call them within a 3-hour time period because that's when they're the hottest. And what we also do, we're spending a lot more time just getting to know them. Our sales team is spending hours on the phone getting to know the franchise lead and really and genuinely making sure that it's the right fit. And they feel that. It's a totally different. Like if your company is just like texting people, emailing people, it's just too much. Like try building genuine relationships and having a call and spending the time instead of just pitching your company. People can feel that. And I think that was a big distinction for us that really created massive growth. Another thing that we do is, and this isn't right for everyone, because some franchisors, your brand's a lot more complicated, it's more complex, but for us, we're selling superfood smoothies, acai bowls, cold pressed juice. It's a very streamlined system. And so what we found is there's no need, if someone's opening up in California, for them to spend all the money to come to our headquarters in person, spend money on the hotels and all that time and planning, and they're away from their day job. Instead, we just do virtual discovery days where they can connect with, on Zoom, every single member of our team. We walk them through everything. We do FaceTime calls with, in the store, show them behind the scenes, show them how the products are being made. And what this has done is it really has sped up the lead process. Sometimes I'm shocked when I hear the lead to close for other franchisors. They're like, yeah, it takes 150 days to go from lead coming in to them signing on a franchise. I'm like, guys, that's crazy. Like you're doing something wrong. That's way too long. For us, it's much faster. And a lot of it is because of the technology that we're using. So here's another way that technology has changed the game. We're a brand who's approached from a lot of institutions, a lot of VC firms, a lot of private equity firms. They approach us all the time. They try to take me for dinner. And the problem with an emerging brand is that these guys want way too much control. They want to take way too big a piece of the company. They want board seats. And in 2016, something came out, it's called the Jobs Act. What the Jobs Act does is it allows for unaccredited investors, just regular people with a net worth under $250,000, to invest in companies, emerging companies. And so that's what started equity crowdfunding. So back in 2020, we did a round on republic.com. And we raised $1 million through 5,000 investors. The average investment size was about $100 to $200, average size. This was back in 2020. And guess what happened? So we've been growing so fast that from the time that these investors invested back in 2020, when you look at our valuation now, they've tripled their money. So 3 years have gone by. Every year, they've doubled their money. It's an amazing investment. You look at index funds, you look at the S&P 500, you're not going to double your money. You're lucky if you make 10% on your money. So we've built such an amazing investor community, and a lot of our Republic investors, they've actually gone on and they've opened up their own franchise, which is crazy. And it's been such a blessing for us, and it's very inspiring. I give them updates multiple times per month as to what's going on with the company. And now our Republic investors are like, hey, we want you to do another round because we didn't put enough money in. We're really happy with the investment that we've got so far. We see what's happening. We believe in Pure Green franchise. And so we want to put more money in. So because we're in the franchise industry, we get our financials audited every year. And regulations changed a little bit. So we're legally now able to raise up to $5 million just with the current audit that we have right now. We don't need that much capital. But we want to invest more in infrastructure, continue to hire people in all of the key positions, and better support our franchisees. So instead of going to institutions, guess what? We're going to listen to our investors, and we're going to do another round. It's going to be a short round, And it's very limited. I think we're probably going to close before we even go public because all of our guys want to come back in. And one thing I'll do, though, is for those of you here, I think we're going to go live in a couple of weeks. If there's any room left, if any of you have any interest at all, take out your phones, just click that QR code, and there's a quick form. You can just put your email in, and I'll notify you if there's any room left in the round. It's limited, but if you guys want to get in, I'll make sure you're notified. So I'll leave that up just for a few more seconds in case anyone is interested here. The other thing that I want to talk about that's super important, here's one thing that's really interesting, is that a big part of our growth is driven by our current franchisees. 90% of all of our franchisees have said that they've either already committed financially to doing multiple units, or they've expressed interest in doing multiple units with us. And so one of the ways that we really foster that community and that culture is with monthly Zoom calls. Everyone's on. And we talk about the monthly marketing promotion. We talk about some of our top performing franchisees for that month. They talk about the strategies that they're doing. We all learn together. It's really an amazing community. We always have special guests on. So if your brand is not doing this, highly advocate that you have monthly calls with everyone on where we all learn together. Next, what I'd love to do is just a quick Q&A. I'm happy to dive into anything on a deeper level if anyone has any questions. So I'll open up the floor. Yes?
You mentioned that you have kind of quicker lead times than normal, but I don't think you said what kind of the typical start to finish is for your brand. What is that?
Sure. No, great question. So the question is, what's our lead time from when a prospect comes in to when they actually sign the FA, the franchise agreement? So we're limited because as soon as the franchise lead signs the FDD, we have to wait 14 days before they can sign a franchise agreement. So 14 days is the absolute minimum. And while it does vary, we've actually had franchisees come in within that 14-day window and close them within 14 days because it's a great fit, because we take the time up front to really get to know the candidate. For us, what we look for is whenever we see someone is passionate about our mission, which is to build healthier communities around the globe, and they're super into health and wellness, whenever we see that and it's such a great fit, for us, we find that owner-operators are some of the best franchisees. So when we know it's an owner-operator and it's a great fit, we don't waste any time. Before we even start the site selection process, any of that, we want them to commit to the brand first. So 14 days was the fastest that we've done it, and it's been quite a few there. But I would say our average is probably closer to 30 to 45 days, which is very fast for the industry. And it really just depends on the individual and what their questions are and what their individual process is. But I would say we're averaging 30 to 45 days. Yes?
Can you talk a little bit about your sales teams, the structure, like how big it is or how efficient it is, and what do you keep in-house and what do you kind of bring in vendors to do for you?
It's a great question. So we started off, when we started franchising, with just a single franchise coordinator, and that was it. And this was 2020, and in the early days, I was very involved in the process very early on. Was not a good use of my time. Since then, we've grown, and for us, one of the things that we look for, it's all about our people. We want to partner with the best and the brightest. And so since then, what we did, we brought on this guy, Brody. Brody owns 17 units of another franchise, so experienced franchisee, has a very laid-back approach to sales, makes our prospects feel just super comfortable and confident. He spends hours with the prospects just building a relationship. He's got his own dedicated booker. And so we have him and his booker, and then we have a separate franchise coordinator as well that handles all the administration. So it's very lean and mean. And then we also recently started working with brokers. And what the craziest thing is when we started working with the brokers, we had 2 brokers that we did deals with. They both individually said, they're like, Ross, we can't believe it. This is the closest this is the fastest we have ever closed a deal. And it's just because the way that we use the technology because we have all of these efficiencies, that's the reason. We know if it's the right fit with someone. If it's not the right fit, we're just gonna say no. We just don't think this is the right fit. You should check out another brand. We do that right away. It's because we choose the right people to allow them to come into our franchise with very quick lead time and with very lean infrastructure. Any other questions? All right, well guys, I wanna leave you with one question. And so that question is, out of all the technology that we've shown you today, I want you to think about whether you're a franchisor, you're a franchisee, you're a vendor, you work for another company, out of everything that I showed you today, which technology can you apply to your business and to your life? So I just want to leave you with that, and thank you guys so much for your time.